straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, the big announcement has come in. The Indian men's squad for the T20 World Cup has been announced. Some hits and a few misses. What was the thinking behind each of the selection? And has the BCCI taken some bold steps? Stay on for a decode of the squad. Spat over a jersey in African football. Morocco and Algeria are warring as is, but that has now translated to the football pitch too, with Algerian club refusing to play a Moroccan side over a jersey. Stay to know more. And is this the year of the OGs exiting NBA? No Lebron James, Kevin Durant and Steph Curry in the playoffs for the first time since 2005. All of that heading your way. But first, a look at the headlines in Sports 360. In tennis, former men's world number one Rafael Nadal has entered the round of 16 at the Madrid Open. He battled past Argentine Pedro Cachin 6-1, 6-7, 6-3 to reach the fourth round. It was a stern 3-hour-long battle that tested Nadal's tenacity. He next faces Czech tennis player Jiří Lecka. Over in football, Barcelona secured a 4-2 home win over Valencia in La Liga. Fermin Lopez scored the first goal for Barcelona in the 22nd minute after being 1-2 down in the first half. Barca hit back with an equalizer through Robert Lewandowski. He went on to add 2 more goals to seal the win for Barcelona. In a setback for Zambian football, the women's national side faces potential exclusion from the Paris Olympics. FIFA has threatened suspension due to concerns regarding the functioning of the association. The country's football chief is accused of money laundering and duping government funds. The US and Mexico have withdrawn their bid to host the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. They said they would instead focus on bidding for the tournament in 2031. This comes just weeks ahead of FIFA's scheduled vote on the 17th of May to determine who the host will be. Only Germany, Belgium and Netherlands along with Brazil remain as candidates who can host the 2027 edition. And India beat reigning Olympic champion South Korea 5-1 in the Archery World Cup. Team India clinched the gold in the men's team recurve category. The trio of Dheeraj Bomadevara, Praveen Jadhav and Tarundeep Rai represented India. This was India's first gold in archery at a World Cup in 14 years. The much-awaited Indian men's cricket squad for the T20 World Cup has been announced. After all, the noise surrounding the big reveal. The big announcement was made with a bit of a quietness in a press release sent in the afternoon, showing there weren't too many debates and back and forth, at least on the day. That largely this was a unanimous call and they saw eye to eye on various key talking points. So there are quite a few takeaways from that announcement. Before we get to it, here's a look at the 15-man squad, those who made it. They will be on that flight to take on the world in a month from now at the USA and West Indies. So what are the large talking points? First up, I have to say that there has been some mixed signals when it comes to picking the squad. Certain decisions have been made, keeping the pedigree, the experience and the weight that this particular brings to the equation and the table. And then there are a few picks still that show some level of recency bias. I'll get to those in just a bit. Let's start at the top. Rohit Sharma is captain. No surprises there. After the secretary of the BCCI announced him as captain some months ago, there was going to be something awfully wrong to go down for that not to happen or carry forward. But the next one is the biggie, Hardik Pandya as vice captain. He will be a support cast, provide that assistance to Rohit Sharma, who he in fact displaced and replaced in the Mumbai franchise at the IPL. An interesting development there. So clearly, they have not seen what has happened at the Premier League because Hardik has been at patchy form. He has not bowled too many overs as well, and his batting has not had too many wow moments to write home about. So what the board is in fact saying here are two things. They have faith in his abilities regardless of what has gone down over the last few weeks. And they believe that he will repose that faith that they are showing on him. Super bold and clear, calm selection here, if you ask me. It is easy to get taken in and taken away by all the noise, but a very calm and composed call by the selection committee to give him that responsibility and get him into that squad. Let's look at the other picks when it comes to the batting. Who is in? Virat Kohli. No surprises again. When you have Rohit Sharma there helming affairs, there is little to no way that you can't pick a Virat Kohli, especially after he's had some good, serious knocks in the IPL, and this in fact could be one of the last World Cups that the two play together. In fact, he even sent out a bit of a strong message to all his critics after that last game that Bengaluru won over the weekend.
I think all the people who talk about strike rates and me not playing spin well are the ones who love talking about this stuff. But for me, it's about winning the game for the team. And there is a reason you have done this for 15 years. You have won games for your team. And I'm not quite sure if you have not been in that situation yourself to sit and speak about the game from a box.
Sharp words there, and obviously the board thinks so too. They're siding with him on this one. Yashasvi Jaiswal, the youngster, makes it to the squad. He's a brilliant talent, and at the top of the order, he's probably that one big hitter who can strike and strike big, what the T20 format demands now. The most interesting thing to see, though, would be who comes out to bat alongside Rohit Sharma, because he's opening for sure. I would want to see Jaiswal there. He's an impact player and he can easily put the pressure right back on the opposition bowlers. He's fearless and plays the most intense brand of T20 cricket that we see right now as the game has evolved. His inclusion has obviously meant the reserves for Shubman Gill, understandably so. Who else makes it then on the basis of faith and pedigree? Ravindra Jadeja. He's had a very quiet IPL when it comes to the performance with the bat in particular, something you do not expect given you are in as an all-rounder. The board, though, feels Jadeja is a big match player and he will come good when the chips are down. What about the big hits and misses? I'm most thrilled and ecstatic to see the return of two men who've been instrumental in their team's success in IPL, yes, and also in India colours in the past, Sanju Samson and Yuzvendra Chahal. The board has made a very heartening call here to bring them both back. That means Chahal edges out Ravi Bishnoi, who would have come close, and given the way he has been bowling, that would have been a bit of a discussion there. And of course, KL Rahul has been edged out. Sanju pushing him out. It has to do with the position that the two are batting at when it comes to the IPL. Sanju Samson performing at in the middle order, giving the selectors more option, a sense of flexibility if he does get a go into the playing 11. KL Rahul has been opening for Lucknow, and no doubt he's been doing well in that role, but it's a role that is chock-a-block right now with too many opening options that is in that squad that's already been picked. The best part was that last game when Rajasthan beat Lucknow, and the man to score the winning runs for Rajasthan was Sanju Samson, who scored a fiery, fast-paced half-century and let out a massive roar as he did so. We literally don't see him wearing his emotions and showing it out so explicitly, prompting everyone to think, what more did Sanju Samson need to do, and has he done enough to seal that spot for the World Cup as a backup keeper bat, which he clearly has. And cricket expert Sanjay Manjrekar said exactly this when we spoke to him just last week as we were building up to what the possible World Cup squad would look like, that he wished the selectors would not forget Sanju Samson and Chahal in particular.
That is Sanju Samson. With his consistency, maturity, and when he's playing and he's on song, India need that kind of a player in their T20 team. And Chahal, I think very rarely do you see somebody holding the purple cap. That's the number of wickets, that's quantity of wickets, but with it, the quality of wickets that he's taken as well. So he's another guy who should be in contention for the spinner spot.
Looking at the whole squad, who are the other predictable and notable selections? Suryakumar Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah, Kuldeep Yadav and Mohammad Siraj. They believe in what these players bring to the table, despite a few of them having a rather quiet last few weeks. But the big hit that indicates a bit of recency bias has to be the selection of Shivam Dube, the massive six-hitter who's had a phenomenal turnaround in Chennai Super Kings. And that's nudged out someone like a Rinku Singh, a Tilak Verma and few others who've been on the fringe for this slot. Because although Dube is an all-rounder, he has not bowled at all in this league, obviously given the impact player rule, but the board believes he has shown great promise and he must feature in their plans. Now, I've saved the big one for the last, Rishabh Pant. How heartening a sight it will be to see him play a World Cup. He's earned that place after coming back from a near-death car crash to come back into the Premier League as captain, batter and wicket-keeper. Sure, he started slow and looked a bit patchy, but what a climb it has been, and he's steadily only looked better than his last performance consistently. So largely a big tick from me for the selection. There are parts where they have gone for the predictable, but they have rewarded merit and grit where it's mattered. There have been a few bold calls here, and here's hoping that the squad that they've picked will play just as bold when it comes to the tournament. All right, football is a very dramatic sport. We all know that. Football in Africa is, well, the drama knows no bounds there. There is great talent, skill, but of course, the drama and passion runs high. We saw that during the Africa Cup of Nations tournament. Today, we of course bring you fights over a jersey. For the second straight week, a match was called off, and at the heart of that was a jersey. Sounds rather timid and a bit silly, but no, at the center is a political storm, and football is just the latest casualty. The second leg of the CAF Confederation Cup semi-final between RS Berkane and USM Alger was also called off. USM Alger players refused to come out of their locker rooms to play the match, the second leg, after the scheduled kickoff. The reason: RS Berkane's jersey and a map of the disputed territory of Western Sahara, a border around 1,242 mile long separating Algeria and Morocco in Western Sahara, has been the source of conflict for many years now. Algeria supports, of course, the Polisario Front, an organization whose motive is the region's independence, an area that is 80% controlled by Morocco. And thus, when Alger players spotted the map on the jersey of the Moroccan club, it reignited the long-standing tensions between the two nations. That is how politically charged even the footballers clearly are. The dramatic turn of events began in the first leg when these two teams were scheduled to play each other. The Moroccan club Berkane's kit was confiscated upon their arrival in Algeria by the custom officials, and Berkane players refused to wear an alternate jersey to play the game. The game was cancelled and Alger was punished with a 3-0 defeat by the CAF because they refused to play the game on the condition that Berkane players would have to sport an alternate jersey. Alger even appealed to revoke the punishment. A 3-0 deficit was going to be a big ask to overcome in the second leg, but their plea was dismissed and no justification was given on either of the decisions made. The one which penalized them, and of course the one that refused to revoke it. Refusal to come and play the second leg too has been ensured. That Berkane is now through to the final. That raises the question, why did Alger refuse to play? Berkane has used the same jersey through their season. They've used it in the past and they've worn similar jerseys across other African competitions. And no other country objected to it. Obviously, Alger created a furore because this is a matter that hit home. The Moroccan club was displaying an area on the map that they feel is disputed territory and has no place on a team's sporting jersey. And here is the thing, FIFA's equipment regulations clearly says no kit that includes political statements or images should be worn. This, of course, raises many more questions. Why wasn't any objection made by CAF when Berkane was wearing the jersey through the season? Isn't it the Confederation's responsibility to put FIFA's regulation in order? Many former Algerian football players and media believe that Morocco has a lot of influence inside CAF, especially since Fouzi Legja is on its executive committee. Now, who's Legja? He is the Moroccan Football Federation president and also the former president of Berkane Football Club. So a conflict of interest straight away, and also could hold sway over proceedings in the committee. The rift between the two countries politically has clearly infiltrated football. Last year, the Moroccan national football team withdrew from the African Nations Championship, which was organized by Algeria. Due to political disputes between the countries, Morocco wasn't allowed to fly directly from their capital city. Algeria requested Morocco to fly in via another country. Morocco, who felt slighted, withdrew from the competition, that too just days before it started. There were no sanctions made by CAF upon that, and Morocco was not even questioned. But the larger point here is no action was taken whatsoever to try and smoothen this standoff back then. The similar map has been subject to controversies in other sporting disciplines too. Earlier this year, Algeria pulled out of the Arab Youth Handball Championship since Morocco team was wearing shirts with a map showing the disputed territory here as well. Alger are now seeking the help of arbitration for sport in Lausanne, seeking the intervention of the global body for the 3-0 punishment given when they forfeited the first leg. The consequences for Algerian football could be disastrous if the Swiss court rejects their appeal, as Berkane will stay in that final of the African Confederation Cup if the 3-0 punishment stands. Sports and politics is a deadly concoction. We've seen that everywhere. The biggest talking point here is the political messaging on a sporting accessory, in this case, the jersey. We've seen it in cricket. Australian batter Usman Khawaja wasn't allowed to express his views by the ICC. The International Cricket Council didn't allow Khawaja to wear shoes with just a simple message that said all lives are equal. And in international football too, no political messages are allowed on jerseys or any other gears that you're going to sport on the pitch. Going by that protocol and that alone, what is stopping authorities from taking action here? Getting Berkane to either change the jersey or revoking the punishment. The NBA playoffs has seen a wild ride this year. We've witnessed some shocking upsets and the dawn of a new era, because we won't have the likes of Steph Curry, Lebron James, or even Kevin Durant in the second round of the NBA playoffs. Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors couldn't even qualify to start with. And then there's Kevin Durant and Phoenix Suns, who were swept aside by the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the biggest shocker of it all, LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers being dumped by the Denver Nuggets in a stunning upset. This will be the first time since 2005 that none of these three OGs will be part of the second round. And with young stars like Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander rising, is it time for the young blood to take center stage?
Every team goes through a transition phase when legends pave the way for youngsters. The NBA, or the National Basketball Association, is going through a similar transition phase as well. The NBA first-round playoffs saw the exit of the Phoenix Suns to a 4-0 series sweep by the Minnesota Timberwolves. With that ended Kevin Durant's run in the tournament. The biggest shocker came when LeBron James's Los Angeles Lakers were beaten by the Denver Nuggets 4-1 in the first round. And Stephen Curry's Golden State Warriors didn't even qualify for the first-round playoffs. This will be the first time since 2005 that the second round of the NBA will not see the presence of even one of the legendary trio. LeBron may be the only player from the early or mid-2000s who still played in the playoffs this time. Many others have faded and retired. His undying spirit, even at 39, has kept him going at the biggest stage. The King may claim that he can do anything that he's done in his 20s, but the truth is, the Lakers star seems to be running out of fuel to carry his team to the next stage. Stephen Curry seems to be in a similar situation too. Earlier this year, he wasn't a starter on the All-Star lineup. This was the first time in Curry's career that he had to come off the bench in an All-Star game. And his team, the Golden State Warriors, not even qualifying for the playoffs, has made the inevitable more daunting for Curry.
I think about retirement all the time. But the thoughts stop because you got to get ready for the next game. And you know there's a routine and a cycle that goes that you embrace the now.
Kevin Durant, on the other hand, has only missed 7 games this season, so he has plenty of high-level basketball still left in him. He's contracted with the Suns through at least the 2025-26 season, but there's no telling where his career will take him after that. The loss against the Minnesota Timberwolves was a wake-up call. But with the OGs out of the picture, it's clear that a new era is upon us in the NBA. It seems like the time has come to hand the torch to the league's rising stars, such as Luka Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards. The first round also saw Luka Doncic carrying the Dallas Mavericks. Despite the star-studded lineup for the LA Clippers, the Mavericks are tied at 2-2. And we might see the exit of the Clippers if Luka Doncic continues to perform in clutch situations. And of course, the rise of Tyrese Haliburton at the Indiana Pacers is the cherry on the cake for the NBA. With the Pacers leading 3-1 against former champions the Milwaukee Bucks, Haliburton's rise is the story of the season. With so much young talent coming out at the biggest stage, the future of the NBA is in safe hands. Could this year then be the passing of the baton by the Big Three? Well, it sure looks like it.
Time for last serve. British breaker Karam Singh is gearing up for the Paris Olympics qualifiers. Watch the 26-year-old show some of his moves as he eyes an Olympics berth. Wrapping up Firstpost on that note. Thanks for joining in. I'll see you again tomorrow with more fresh perspectives from the world of sports. Till then, take care.